What is going on, everyone? My name is the California Cougar and welcome back to another video. Today, I told y'all last week that I wanted to go over my thoughts on Survivor 41, which is the upcoming season of Survivor. We're finally getting a new season. It's about damn time. It's been like a year and a half now, at least, since the last season of Survivor premiere, but we're finally getting a new Survivor season. And I'm pretty excited for it, I gotta say, because it's been so long since we last had Survivor. Now, I think production has made this pretty clear that we're entering a new era of Survivor. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Like, I know it's been 40 seasons. 40 seems like a weird number to, like, change the game forever. I mean, they're still going out to Fiji. They'll be filming in Fiji and doing all that. But there's a few differences that they're introducing this season. Probably the biggest one is that the season's going to be 26 days instead of the standard 39. So, yeah, they're basically cutting it by 33% to 26 days. And I don't know if they intend to keep it like that. I know they will for at least this season and Survivor 42, considering they filmed those back to back. But I have no idea if they're going to continue that for future seasons. I kind of hope they don't. Like, yeah, a lot of people say, oh, the gameplay is super fast-paced now. But, I mean, 39 is just an iconic number for Survivor. Like, every season except for Survivor the Australian Outback has been 39 days. Well, I mean, Blood vs. Water and San Juan del Sur, they considered to be 39 and a half. But do we really count those half days? I don't know. But, yeah, most Survivor seasons have been 39 days, which feels like a long time, especially if you're out on an island. Now, granted, 26 days will probably feel like a long time. They are trying to make up for this by, I guess, not giving them any food or something like that, so they're completely on their own for food. And I've heard mixed things about this. Like, a lot of people seem to like it, others don't. I don't really think 26 days is enough. I think they should go back to 39. I hope they do eventually. I just don't feel like 26 days is enough. But that's just me. I understand it gives you a faster pace of gameplay, but part of Survivor is that survival aspect. Also, it gets rid of reward challenges, supposedly. I don't like that. I've always been super entertained by the challenges in Survivor. But in recent seasons, I know they've definitely declined in entertainment because they're mostly endurance challenges, at least post-merge. But pre-merge, like, I always loved it when they did, like, both reward and immunity challenges back in the old days. I always thought that was really fun to watch. I've always been entertained by that, so yeah, like, I'm not a huge fan of the whole 26-day thing. Like, I know they're not giving them food, but still, it just doesn't seem like enough time. Especially when you had older seasons where people had to stay out there for 39 days. Like, they had to go full 39. And, yeah, I feel like it kind of just takes away from the survival aspect despite not giving them food. So, that's kind of how I feel about that. The whole game within a game thing, I mean, I guess it's for... They say it's, like, for junior survivors, whatever that means. I don't know if that means, like, future Survivor players or just young, like the younger audience that wants to play Survivor in the future. Whatever that means. But yeah, like, I guess they're doing that. I don't really feel much of a point to that. I don't really feel like there's much point to that. It just kind of feels like a shoehorned in there type of thing. Doesn't really have much to do with the game itself other than, like, giving the audience something to do, I guess. I don't really need that personally. But, yeah, I guess Survivor wants to do that. And then there's the whole thing where Jeff Probst says that he'll tell the audience what each twist is before the players know about it. Not really sure how I feel about that either. Like, they did that in the first season of Survivor, but they haven't really done it since. But now they're doing it again. Like, I don't really know how I feel about that. So, yeah, those are my thoughts to some of the changes of Survivor. Oh, yeah, another thing is the diversity mandate. I think 50% is a bit excessive. I think they should be a little bit more reflective of, like, what the diversity division in the U.S. is as a whole. I think, and in the U.S., 70% of everyone is white, while 30% are not white, or I guess minorities, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so I think 30% would be a more appropriate mandate because it kind of represents the rest of the U.S. But of course, they can choose to add more people if they want to make it more diverse. They can choose to add more people, but as for the mandate itself, I feel like it should be 30. That just feels like a better number. I feel like Survivor's trying a little bit too hard to virtue signal, and y'all know how I feel about virtue signaling. So yeah, like I hope it doesn't come to that. And I also hope that people don't start virtue signaling on the show. Like cast members start virtue signaling about COVID and masks and all that. I really hope that doesn't happen. Because, yeah, that's going to be a huge turnoff for me. But without further ado, let's get into this cast. So I've got it on my phone here. Alright, so there's 3 tribes. 3 tribes of 6, so there's 18 people total. There's the Yasay Tribe, the Luvu Tribe, and the Ua Tribe. I think that's how you pronounce those. So we'll start off with the Yasay Tribe. So the Yasay Tribe has Eric Abraham, Xander Hastings, Evie Jagoda. Is that how you pronounce her last name? I don't know. Tiffany Seeley, David Vossi, and Lyanna Wallace. So those are the 6 people on the Yasay Tribe. I'm going to go through each one of them real quick here. So starting off with Eric. I guess he's going by Abraham on the show. Not really sure why, but some people like to go by their last names, like Cochran, for example. But yeah, he's going by Abraham. He's one of the older contestants. He's 51 years old. He's from San Antonio in Texas. And I don't really know too much about Eric off his bio or any of his interviews or anything like that. But I do fear for him a little bit because a lot of older contestants on this show tend to go earlier rather than later. Like, that's just the history of Survivor. There are a few exceptions, like Janet from Island of the Idols, but, I mean, really, the thing with Janet was she was a good, loyal Alliance member, and she was also very strong at challenges. Now, Eric could be stronger at challenges. He's a tall guy, he's a pretty big guy, but yeah, we'll see how he does, but I don't really know too much about him at the moment. Xander. I think Xander will get through the pre-merge just fine. A lot of the challenge beast stereotype players like Ozzy and Joe and Devin. Devin wasn't really a challenge beast, but he definitely fits that mold. Jay, people like that. And I mean Jay from Millennials vs. Gen X. But yeah, people like that, they tend to at least make it to the merge, but then immediately become targets after the 2 tribes merge. And Xander, I feel like Xander's going to be kind of the same way. He's 20 years old from Chicago, although I think he grew up in Florida based on his bio. He did say he comes off as intimidating, which I think is a little bit worrisome, but I do like what I see from Xander so far. He does give me a good vibe. I just hope that he can actually do well in the game, but I mean, we'll see. He's kind of a wild card for me right now. I feel like he's going to be a wild card on his tribe, like somebody who will either there's going to be 2 sides on his tribe, I feel like, and he's going to be the guy in the middle. That's kind of how I feel about him, at least in the pre-merge. And then the post-merge, I feel like he's going to be targeted pretty early on. He might make it a few steps, but yeah, I don't really see him getting to the end and winning, per se. So that's how I feel about Xander. Evie. Oh, boy. Evie. There's a lot to talk about with her. But the main thing is her bio. Oh, my God. It is cringe. I don't know if anyone else has seen her bio. But you know what she reminds me of? Like, if you look on Twitter or any social media site and you see like a triggered meme and you have like this girl with kind of short hair and glasses and she's making like this kind of face, I don't really know what to make of that, or I don't really know how to make that face, but yeah, like the triggered liberal meme. That's what Evie kind of reminds me of. Now, of course, Evie never gave the angry face, but, I mean, based on her bio, I could totally see her being that kind of person. I mean, she said her hero was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is one of the most despicable, lying, conniving pieces of garbage in Congress. In my eyes, I can't stand her. But politics aside, she also said she hates men, or mansplainers, I guess, whatever that means. So she's going to clash with some of the more alpha male players of this season. There's one player in particular on her tribe that I feel like she's definitely going to clash with. We'll talk about him in a moment, but yeah, she's 28. She's from Arlington, Massachusetts, and yeah, I feel like she'll make it at least through a few tribal councils, maybe. It depends on like whether or not she becomes rivals with that male player we're going to get into, or if maybe she'll decide to work with him. I don't really know, but yeah, I feel like she's going to have a little bit of trouble making it past the merge. I just feel like that's what's going to happen. She's very vocal about her politics and her political beliefs, and if she does that on the show, I think she's going to get voted out very, very quickly. But I could see her bonding with somebody like Lyanna, who we'll talk about next. Lyanna Wallace. She's 20 years old from Washington, D.C., and like she's, I guess, a student right now. I don't really know her occupation, but I don't really know too much about her either. But she is from D.C. Her interview, didn't really know what to think of it. Same with her bio, don't really know what to think of that either. But she seems smart. I mean, but of course she's only 20 years old, like Xander. That's the other thing with Xander, is I don't know how much life experience he has. Same goes with her. I don't really know how she's going to deal with people super well, although I do see her getting along with Evie, so maybe that she'll have that going for her. However, I do think she would be the one that people choose to keep over Evie, because I think she looks like she would be stronger in challenges than Evie, despite being 8 years younger. I just feel like Evie could be the first one off that tribe. I don't really know, but yeah. But with Lyanna, like, don't really know too much about her yet. I kind of need to see more of her before I actually make a judgment call. But yeah, that's what I have so far. Up next, we have Tiffany Seeley, 47 years old, from Plainview, New York. And I like what I've seen from Tiffany so far. I saw a sneak peek where they showed like the first couple minutes of the season, and they had a few confessionals from some of the contestants. Evie was one of them, and Tiffany was another one. I really like Tiffany's confessional. Apparently she'd applied a lot, and then she finally got on the show this time. Like, they showed a clip of her in her house saying like, "I'm going to Fiji!" And she was super excited, obviously. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see her play. I think of all the female contestants on this tribe, at least, I think she has the best shot to make it to the merge. I think Lyanna can make it too, but I think, or I guess I should have said, she has the best shot to win, I should say. I think Tiffany has the best shot to win. Don't really know what else to think about her right now, but that's what I have so far with Tiffany. And then finally, we have David Vossi, or Vossi, 35, from Chicago, Illinois, and David, to me, oh man, David is either going to be the first boot, or he's going to go all the way to the end and not win. That's how I feel about David right now. He seems kind of cocky. He's a neurosurgeon, so he's all about like doctor. He thinks he's like all this and all that. He compares himself to Russell Hantz, which I don't really know what to think about that. Yeah, he also looks like Ben Shapiro as well. So there's that. But the thing with him is he reminds me of a younger David Sampson almost. He's 35 years old. Yeah, and I think he's going to be the one that clashes with Evie at the beginning. Like, if Evie's going to clash with anyone, it's going to be him, I think, because he comes off as like this cocky, arrogant, alpha male type character that we see from players like Russell or even some other players like, I guess Colby wasn't really an alpha male, but Brad Culpepper, I guess you could say, is another one. That's how David comes off to me. He's going by Vossi for some reason, I guess. he was another one whose confessional was shown in the 2-minute preview that we saw. And yeah, I'm like, why is he going by Vasi? It would be so much easier to go by David. Yeah, it kind of shows how full of himself he is. So yeah, I don't think he can win the game. But then again, we've seen some players who, during their cast assessments, everyone was like, oh, this person has no chance to win. And then they end up going super far. And had they made it to the end, there's a good chance they actually would have won. Look at Spencer Bledsoe. That's the perfect example. So, yeah, maybe David can be that, although I don't really feel too good about him right now. So that's the Yasay Tribe. Up next, we have the Luvu Tribe. So we've got Heather, Aldrit. All right, so we've got Heather, Erica, Danny, Nasir, Deshawn, and Sydney. Starting off with Heather, kind of another older woman. She's 52. She's from Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, don't really know too much about her either. She and Tiffany kind of give off the similar vibes. Heather also kind of reminds me of Sunday from Survivor Millennials versus Gen X, where she seems somewhat likable, but with Sunday, I feel like Sunday could have won had she gotten to the end. Maybe, just maybe. I don't know about that with Heather. I'd have to see her play first. This kind of goes for all the players. Like, I'd have to see them play before making an actual judgment on them. But yeah, with Heather, don't really know too much about her yet, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I liked some of her bio, but yeah, I kind of need to figure out more from her. Erica Casupanon. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She's 32. She's from Toronto in Canada, so she's one of the Canadians on this season. And she's the only true Canadian on this season, as she's currently living in Toronto. So yeah. And Erica, I feel like Erica is either going to hit hard and go far, or she's going to flop. I don't really feel like there's any in between. She's going to be kind of like with David, although Erica doesn't really come off as a villain like David. Unlike David, I actually think Erica would have a chance to win if she does go far. But yeah, I mean, I've liked what I've seen from her interviews so far. She seems like a decent person, seems intelligent. But yeah, not really too much else to say about her. She's one of the Canadians on the tribe, so maybe she'll be worth rooting for that. But yeah, Erica, not too much known about her. Danny McCray, 33, from Frisco, Texas. He is a former NFL player. So with him, like, what kind of sports athlete are we going to get here? We've had tons of athletes compete on the show in the past. Some of them have done very well, like Brad Culpepper in, what the hell was he on? Game Changers. Like, he made it all the way to the end. We also had people like John from David versus Goliath, who could have come off as like super arrogant, super cocky, but was actually super likable, kind of a gentle giant type of character. And then we also had people like Grant and Steve Wright from Redemption Island, who, like, no one really cared about their sports background. Same with Cliff Robinson. But we've also had people that did care more about sports backgrounds, like Gary Hogaboom from Guatemala. A lot of people didn't seem to like the fact that he was a quarterback, although no one really knew about it except Danny. So yeah, I don't really know what to think of Danny from this season. I think he could go far, but I also think he could fail to make the merge. Kind of like he's like a somewhat low floor, very high ceiling type of guy to me. But I think he can do well. He definitely has the potential to do well. And the other question is, how much will people care about his athletic background? Nowadays, most people don't really care as much. But yeah, like, that's something to keep in mind for sure. So that's Danny. Up next, we have Nasir. Nasir Muttalif from Morgan Hill, California. He's 37 years old. I think he's the guy that was originally from Sri Lanka or something like that. And then he came over to the U.S., and I really like Nasir. I really like what I've seen from him. He seems likable. The question is, will his story make him too much of a threat? That's kind of the question I have with him, and I don't really know. But yeah, I like Nasir so far. Can't really say too much negative about him yet. So we'll see how he does. But he's definitely a guy I could see potentially winning the game. Deshaun Radden. He's 26 from Miami, Florida. I really like Deshaun. Kind of reminds me of Jamal a little bit. Maybe a softer version of Jamal. Jamal was kind of harsh in a way. And I'm talking about Jamal from Island of the Idols, by the way. But yeah, he comes off as kind of like a Jamal, but like a softer version of him. He hates being told what to do based on his bio. So yeah, I can definitely relate to him in that way because I don't like being told what to do either. So yeah, I like Deshaun. The question is, like, some people think he won't make it far. Others think he can make it all the way to the end. Not really sure what to think. I definitely think he has potential though. So yeah, other than that, don't really know too much about him. Would have to wait and watch the show to see what we get from him. And finally, we have Sydney Seagal. She's 26 from Brooklyn, New York. I like Sydney, but I don't think she makes it past the merge. She comes off in her interview as like super cocky. She's super full of herself. Kind of like David in a way. Except David was a little bit more cocky, I think. But yeah, Sydney, she comes off super full of herself. She reminds me a lot of Natalya from David vs. Goliath. That's the comparison she seems to be getting a lot. Natalya was obviously very cocky, very full of herself. She ended up getting blindsided by one of her own allies. And will the same thing happen with Sydney? I don't really know. I could see her bonding with some of the guys on the tribe, though, like Danny and Deshaun and maybe Nasir as well. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Is she going to be Parvati? Like, that's the real question. Is she going to be like another Parvati type of player or a player that someone sees as another Parvati? Like this young, attractive female player that will do anything for attention. That's how she comes off to me. But we'll see how she does. I do like Sydney a lot, though, and I kind of hope she does well. So that's it for the Luvu Tribe. Finally, we have the Ua Tribe. So we've got Jeannie, Ricard, Brad, Jairus. Jairus, is that how you pronounce his name? Chantel, and Sarah. So first up is Jeannie Chen. She's 46 from Portland, Oregon. Right away, based on her tribe and who's on her tribe with her, if that tribe loses, she's the first boot. That's my hot take on this. I just don't see her getting past that. Like a lot of people on her tribe might think that she won't be good enough for challenges. She could be like an Elaine type of character, someone who's super likable and could potentially make it to the merge, but not make it to the end. Either way, I don't really see her winning the game or have any shot of winning the game. She does seem likable, but I think that's going to hurt her. I really do. And based on who she's on with, or based on who's on her tribe with her, if that tribe loses before a swap, I think she's done. I think she's the first one off. That's just my take on that. I do like Jeannie, but I just don't have a good feeling about her at all. Up next, we have Ricard Foyer. He's 31 from Sedro-Woolley, Washington. And he's got quite a story with him. I guess he has a transgender relative. I don't remember which one it was, but it said that in his bio. He's also deaf in one ear. Whether that helps him or hurts him, I guess we'll see. But yeah, that is a little bit worrisome because it's going to make communicating difficult. Christy from Survivor Amazon managed to get through it, but Nina from Survivor Worlds Apart struggled with that. I mean, Christy struggled with it at the beginning, but she did manage to make it farther into the game because she was good enough at reading lips. With Ricard, I mean, I guess we'll see. He's very likable, obviously. He's got a story. Like, I don't remember exactly what it was, but like I guess he grew up in a tough neighborhood or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. I'd have to look it up again. But yeah, Ricard, a lot of people think he can win. And I do think he would have a shot if he can get far enough into the game. But we will just have to see. I like what I've seen from Ricard so far, though. So, yeah. Up next, Brad Reese. He is 50 years old from Shawnee, Wyoming. And he reminds me kind of Terry Dietz in a way, where he's around the same age as Terry Dietz, kind of a country type of guy. I mean, he's from Wyoming, so there's that. However, I could also see him coming off as like another alpha male type of character. So, yeah, I don't really know what to think of Brad so far. I mean, I do kind of like him, but again, I don't really know too much about him. He is a fighter pilot, kind of like Terry Dietz was, so there's that. So, but yeah, can't wait to see Brad though. I think he's going to be an exciting player to watch for sure. Up next, Jairus, or JD. He's going to go by JD, I think, based on the quotes around his name. JD Robinson. He's 20 years old from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So yeah, another 20-year-old, and out of all the 20-year-olds on this season, I think he has the best shot of winning. He seems kind of like a young Wendell type of player to me. And he's obviously super likable. He looks super athletic, but not in the way that he... But, I mean, if he could use someone like Xander as a shield, if he and Xander both get that far, then he might be able to use that to his advantage. But yeah, I really like JD so far. He seems likable. He seems intelligent. He seems like he's got a good handle on the game. And he's got a lot of life experience for a 20-year-old. A lot more than the other 20-year-olds seem to have based on his bio. So, yeah, I think out of all the 20-year-olds this season, I do think JD has the best shot of winning, or at the very least, making a deep run into the game. So that's what I have on JD. Chantel, or Sean, I guess Sean, that's what she's going by. But yeah, Chantel Shannon Smith, 34 years old from Washington, D.C. She's a pastor, and she's another one that I think has a really good shot of winning if she can get far. In fact, out of all the women on this season, I think she would have the best shot of winning, aside from maybe Tiffany or Heather. I don't really know who else on this cast. Yeah, but yeah, Chantel. And is she another Canadian? I remember there was someone else who was originally from Canada. It might have been her. It might have been Chantel. I don't remember. But yeah, Chantel. I like what I've seen from Chantel so far, and I think she can do well. She's a pastor, but she's not exactly a soft pastor, as she said in her opening confessional. But yeah, I'm excited to see her play. We'll see how well she does. She looks like she can fit in with other people. Looks like she would have a good social game. So, yeah, that's what she has going for her in my eyes. And finally, the last player on this tribe and the last player on this list, we have Sarah Wilson, 24 years old from Boston, Massachusetts. A lot of people compare her to Haley Ford, and I think that's a fair comparison. She's this young, cute, attractive woman. Like that's the way she comes off to me. She's the typical young, cute, attractive girl that a lot of the guys might want to take farther into the game, and she seems like someone who could potentially use that to her advantage. She seems sort of athletic. Seems like she would be good socially. I just don't know how well that's gonna work for her in the game. I think she can win. I think her ceiling is she can win. I just don't know how likely that is. She could also be someone who people take to the end as someone who can't win, I feel like. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions on this season, a lot of questions on this cast. But overall, I'm excited for Survivor. That's what I have for the cast, so yeah, make sure to leave the thumbs up button on this video if you enjoyed it. And are you guys excited for Survivor? Who are you going to be rooting for this season? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. I'm super excited for this season. It's about time we got another Survivor season. Despite some of the twists and new additions to the game that I'm a little bit skeptical of, overall, it's about time we got a new Survivor season. So yeah. We got Survivor coming up next Wednesday, I believe, is when the premiere is. So, yes, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited for it as well. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos to come in the future. Not sure what I have planned next week, but I'll come up with something. But yeah, until that next video, once again, my name is the California Cougar, and always remember to stay California cool. Peace!